Hello everyone, welcome to episode 3 of You Have What It Takes series. Today we'll be talking about overcoming bad habits and addictions, and I want to believe that God has a reason for bringing this message to you at this point in time. It is time for you to face those demons that you're dealing with that could actually affect your success and could actually affect you from finishing strong. So whatever those bad habits are, it's time for you to identify them. In today's video, I'll be mentioning some of these bad habits. I won't be able to touch on every kind of bad habit that there is, but whatever it is you're going through, find the one that's peculiar to you and work on it. The earlier the better. So today I'll be talking about bad habits that affect our success. The first one I'll be talking about is procrastination. This is one of the bad habits that many of us are dealing with today, and it is one that we need to face head on. The earlier the better is going to be for each and every one of us to get to that place that we want to get to. Okay, when you're talking about procrastination, what does it mean? Basically, procrastination is the habit of delaying a more important task, usually by focusing on an activity that is more enjoyable or easier to do. Now, it can be caused by poor decision making or poor time management. Also, another thing that could cause procrastination or make you procrastinate is if you're a perfectionist. You always want things to be done to perfection. So there's always that tendency that you'd want to postpone because you feel that you do not have everything that you need to be able to carry out that task. You feel that you're falling short in some areas, and therefore you begin to postpone. And the honest truth is there's never a good time to deal with such bad habits of procrastination than now. Okay, so we're going to be talking about how to overcome procrastination. I've explained what procrastination means, and I believe most of you can relate to this explanation. But then again, how do we overcome procrastination? The very first thing you need to ask yourself is, why do I procrastinate? What is that thing that makes me procrastinate? Why? What's that reason? So when you're able to identify those reasons, then you can work on those reasons, because each reason for a procrastination, it differs from one person to another. Okay, the reasons I procrastinate might be different from yours, so you need to identify your own reasons for procrastinating. And then also you need to ask yourself, how do you feel when you procrastinate? What kind of feeling do you get from procrastinating? Okay, do you feel that you're being productive, or do you feel that you're not being as productive as you should when you procrastinate? Okay, so that is another question that you need to ask yourself. Another way to overcome procrastination is by minimizing distractions. If you cannot totally avoid distractions, then you need to minimize the distractions. Okay, some of these distractions could be in form of TV, social media, maybe getting carried away with your gadgets, probably playing games, whatever it is. The kind of distractions you face is peculiar to you, okay, and it would actually differ from the distractions that another person faces. So you need to find out those distractions that are peculiar to you so that you can be able to minimize them or avoid them. And another way to overcome procrastination is by tackling the task as they come. Don't wait till there's a build-up. Okay, whenever you have a task to do it immediately. Don't wait till you have a pile-up of different tasks, because that way there's every tendency that you might be going for the less the difficult task, and or you probably be going for the easier task, or something that you find more enjoyable. Meanwhile, you have very important tasks to do. Okay, one thing that can help you when you have a list of tasks to do, or you have a pile-up of activities, you need to find out what is appealing in each of these tasks. Okay, now when I say what is appealing, when you have a task that you feel that might seem extremely difficult to do, and you know that there's that tendency that you're going to leave it undone or leave it to the later date, you need to find out what appeals to you concerning that task, concerning that difficult task. What is that one thing that appeals to you concerning that task? When you're able to identify that, then it will encourage you to serve as a motivation for you to be able to carry out that task. Another thing that could serve as a motivation for you to overcome procrastination is your environment. If you're in an environment where there's so much noise and you don't work or you don't function well where there's so much noise, then you might not be able to be productive, and you might not be able to carry out the task that you need to do as at when due. So one thing you need to do is to focus on your environment environment. If that environment is not suiting, then find another environment, find a place that is more comfortable so that you can be able to carry out the task without having to procrastinate. Okay, one other thing that could help us, remember I told you that poor time management affects us, so you need to set goals. Some of these goals even attach time. One thing that I've done that really works for me and helps me out is basically setting an alarm. So what you can do is when you wake up in the morning and you know you have a list of activities to do, so that you do not get carried away, or you do not forget, or you do not go for the more enjoyable things and leave the important things undone. Basically what you need to do is to set that timer or set your schedule. You understand? You thank God for the mobile phones that we have these days. It helps us to be able to plan our day. So get a planner, get other tools that could help you to overcome procrastination, that can help you to actually properly manage your time or plan your time accordingly. That's what you need so that you can be able to overcome procrastination. Okay, one important thing that I need to mention is that in setting goals for yourself, you need to be realistic with the goals that you set. You need to be realistic in the sense that do not set goals that seem very impossible to accomplish or to achieve. You're only human, so always set goals knowing your human strength or ability. Okay, set goals that you know you would actually be encouraged to carry out those tasks, or finish those goals that you have set for yourself. That will make it easier for you. And one thing that you can do is basically to break. If you have a task, for example, you can break it into shorter tasks. Do you understand me? So break into shorter activities, into shorter goals. You understand? That way it will be easier for you to achieve in the long run. Another bad habit that could actually affect our success is egocentrism. Now, this is the inability of an individual to consider the opinion, the perspective, and the feelings of others. Some of the traits of someone who is egocentric is, one, they focus more on their own needs, on their own opinions, or their perspective of things, and they lack empathy. So I can hear someone asking, how do I become less egocentric? One thing that you need to do is you need to slow down and think about how your decision making might impact those around you. Another thing is to get rid of the mindset that the world revolves around you, because it doesn't. So get rid of that mindset, and also look around you for those who actually care about you and are willing to be part of your life and part of the decision making process. One thing that is common to people who are egocentric is some of them is because of their past experiences where they can barely trust anybody. Okay, that is why they have this or have their ego pumped up basically. So what you need to do in that situation is you need to allow someone who actually cares about you into your life. Okay, it's a gradual step that would help you to be able to trust people again, because there are so many people with good hearts, good intentions, who actually want to just get close to you, but being egocentric can actually get in the way of that. And it's not your fault really, because most of it is based on your previous experiences, but there's a way around it. So look around you for someone who truly cares about you and let them in. So another bad habit that could get in the way of our success is anger. Okay, anger is not a sin. To get angry is not a sin, but what you do with that feeling of anger is what makes it a sin, or is what makes it sinful. Okay, and whenever you get that feeling or that angry feeling, basically what you need to do is to exercise self-control. God has given every human being that ability to be able to control ourselves. But in a situation whereby you lose control, you allow your anger to go overboard, and you can do really crazy things that you're not even supposed to do in the first place. So remember to always have that self-control at the back of your mind. Now, this is not to say that you will not get angry. This is not to say that people will not step on your toes. People will not do things to hurt you. They will. But what exactly do you do with it? So how can you overcome anger and resentment? The first thing is to be able to control your temper even when you have been treated unfairly. One of the major reasons why we get angry is because we have been treated unfairly. Okay, so whether you are treated unfairly or not, you need to be able to control your temper. I know the honest truth is that this is easier said than done, but with the help of the Holy Spirit, we'll be able to overcome all of this. Now, Proverbs 19:11 says, The discretion of a man makes him slow to anger, and his glory is to overlook a transgression. Now that's reading from New King James Version. So it's basically telling you to be able to overlook a transgression. So when someone has done you wrong, you should be able to overlook it. It says that the discretion of a man makes him slow to anger. So one, we should be slow to anger at all times. That is also by having self-control. And then it says that we should, and his glory is to overlook a transgression. So you should be able to do what? Overlook when wrongs has been done to you, and just basically leave it to God. The honest truth is that we cannot take vengeance into our hands. We leave everything for God. Another way you can get over anger and resentment is to not let your feelings control you. Now, in a situation whereby you're angry or upset about a particular thing, what you can do is to find an alternative. Look for something to do. Look for something to get your mind off of that feeling of anger or hurt. Now, what you can do is to show kindness to someone else. Either if you can show kindness to the person who upset you, fine, all well and good. But if you can't, then show kindness to someone else to get your mind off of that anger or hurt that you're feeling. The third thing to do is to pray. Okay, pray for yourself, pray for the situation, pray for the person who offended you. Okay, pray that your heart will be softened, and then you'll be able to forgive that person who offended you. Those are the things we can do when we feel powerless or feel that we cannot do anything. Like, for example, we cannot take vengeance because it's not ours, it's of the Lord. So what you need to do in that kind of situation is to pray about it. Another thing to do to overcome anger and resentment is to forgive. Now, forgiveness does not come easy, but it is mandatory that we forgive, even as our Heavenly Father forgives us for all our transgressions. So when someone offends you, try to find it in your heart to forgive that person. Unforgiveness is toxic to your soul, and you don't need it. It affects every part of your life. So you need to forgive and let go of any situation that you cannot control. The last way that you can overcome anger and resentment is by showing love, even to your enemies. It is quite mandatory. It might not be easy, but it is mandatory. Jesus taught his disciples in Luke chapter 6 verse 35, where he talked about where he said, "But love ye your enemies, and do good, and lend, hoping for nothing again." Okay, so thereby telling you that you should love even your enemies. Show love to them, show kindness to them. This would help you with your feeling of anger. Now they have upset you, they have gotten you to the point where you're angry, you're pissed, you're mad. But what you need to do to help yourself in that situation is to show love to them, is to be kind to them, is to control your temper, and don't let your feelings control you. At this point, I'm going to browse through the main types of bad habits that could affect our success. One is blaming others. Many of us are guilty of this. Stop blaming people for your own mistakes. To be a successful person, you need to take responsibility for your actions and not blame others or give flimsy excuses for your mishaps. It doesn't work that way. It is a defense mechanism, but it is not a good one, and it's one you need to get rid of. Another thing is ungratefulness. Another bad habit is ungratefulness. For you to be successful in life, you need to show appreciation and gratitude to those who have helped you at some point or the other. Successful people express their gratitude, so learn to appreciate others. Another bad habit that could affect our success is lack of proper time management. Thank God for the times that we're in now, where you can get so much resources online, you understand, on various, you get different apps to help you plan your day, your week, your month, or the year in general. So you need to help yourself and be able to properly manage your time, make good use of your time. If you cannot do it on your own, then make use of these apps. Also, these apps are there to help. Okay, and another thing is worry. Now, one thing we need to understand is that there are so many situations that are beyond our control, but God is the burden bearer. Many of us are carrying burdens that we shouldn't worry about, burdens that we have no business carrying. It is time for us to go and drop it at his feet. He is the one who created us, and he already knew that we're going to face some trials and tribulations and some really tough times. So what did he tell us? that we should cast all our cares, all our worries, all our fears, everything, cast it at his feet. He's the only one who can actually carry that load and help us fix it. Not just carry it, but also fix it, transform that situation, turn it around. So why worry? Why worry? Stop the worrying, get your mind off it, and lay it at the feet of God. Okay, that would help you to remain focused, because worry can actually distract you from your original focus. Another bad habit that could actually affect us is listening to the noise. There's so much noise these days in the background. How much of that noise are you getting into your system? How much of that noise are you paying attention to? How much of that noise have you been addicted to in such a way that it is going to affect your success in the long run? In such a way that the noise is going to end up making you discouraged. It's going to make you have doubt in yourself. It's going to make you less confident, or it's going to lower your self-esteem. So what are the noise in the background that you need to just turn down the volume or switch it off right there? Laziness is another bad habit, and laziness basically means unwillingness to act. You don't want to act. You don't want to take steps when you're supposed to take steps. You don't want to take action when you're supposed to take action. You want to either be laying on the bed while you're supposed to be working, or you want to be on the phone while you're supposed to be busy with something more important. So laziness is unwillingness to act, and for someone who wants to be successful, laziness should not be found in your lifestyle at all. So you need to get it out of your system. I will not be able to talk about addiction to drugs, alcohol, and other substances in this video, but what I'll do is to record a video some other time talking about addictions to all of these substances I've mentioned. But in summary, knowing how our bad habits influence our lives negatively is not enough to break them. What we need to do is to eliminate the desire to do them. Once the desire is gone, then it will be easier to break such bad habits. So what exactly is the desire behind that bad habit? Same applies for addiction. What is the desire behind that addiction? When you're able to identify the desire, it will be easier for you to break free from that habit. And another thing is, our bad habits have a way of controlling us, right? But I don't want you to fall a victim of that mindset that you will break free from that habit whenever you want to. It's not usually as easy as saying it, okay? If you want to break free from a particular bad habit, you need to do it now. Don't push it to a later date. The reason why I say that is because the further you push it, the lesser the control that you have over such bad habits. On a final note, I want you to ask yourself this question: am I in an environment that promotes my good habits or my bad habits? That is a question I want you to think properly about. Are you in an environment that promotes your good habits or your bad habits? And what changes can I make in my environment to promote my good habits and reduce my bad habits? So those are the questions I want you to think about. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have a blessed week. Bye-bye.